In the scorching expanse of the Libyan Desert, a mystery glimmers beneath the shifting sands. Fragments of glass, pure and translucent, scattered across thousands of square kilometers, whisper of an event so catastrophic it defies conventional explanation. In 2023, archaeologists working in the Great Sand Sea made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Beneath layers of sand, they uncovered the foundations of an ancient city, but unlike any ruins ever documented. The stone walls hadn't crumbled or eroded, they had melted, transformed into glass by temperatures that should have been impossible to achieve in the ancient world. What force could have generated heat so intense it vitrified solid stone? What cataclysmic event could have turned an entire settlement to glass in an instant? Within the vitrified ruins, archaeologists found something impossible: the outlines of human figures frozen in glass, their final moments preserved for eternity. These weren't the contorted poses of people fleeing disaster, but the calm, deliberate stances of individuals who never saw their end coming. The city and its inhabitants were flash-frozen in an instant, transformed from flesh and stone to crystal. Even more puzzling are the patterns in the vitrification itself. The glass doesn't radiate outward from a central impact point, as would be expected from a meteorite strike. Instead, it follows the layout of the city's streets and buildings with eerie precision. Recent analysis revealed the silica content is nearly pure, 98% in some samples, requiring temperatures of at least 1,600 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, a typical house fire reaches only 800 degrees, and modern cremation furnaces operate at around 1,000 degrees. The standard explanation, a meteorite impact or airburst, faces significant challenges. No impact crater has ever been found despite extensive geological surveys. And while an airburst could explain the lack of a crater, it doesn't account for the precision of the vitrification. Using ground-penetrating radar, researchers found the city followed a sophisticated urban plan, with wide avenues radiating from a central plaza. Carbon dating suggests it flourished around 2000 BCE, contemporaneous with the Old Kingdom of Egypt. But unlike these well-documented cultures, no historical record of this desert civilization exists. It's as if the civilization was deliberately erased from history. Perhaps most puzzling is the apparent technological sophistication. The streets align precisely with celestial bodies at key astronomical dates. The central plaza contains a sophisticated water management system that would be advanced even by modern standards. In 2025, physicists from MIT made a startling discovery. The isotopic composition within the glass matched the signature of vitrification caused by intense directed energy rather than ambient heat. The evidence suggested the city wasn't just burned, it was subjected to something akin to a focused beam of enormous power. Even more controversial, researchers found microscopic structures within the glass, thin filaments of copper and gold arranged in geometric patterns reminiscent of circuit boards. These structures are too precise to be natural, suggesting technological sophistication that shouldn't have existed in 2000 BCE. Initial surveys detected elevated radiation levels, isotopes typically associated with nuclear reactions. 3 separate laboratories confirmed these findings, yet they've been largely absent from official reports. The most significant breakthrough came in December 2024, when archaeologists discovered a sealed chamber beneath the central plaza. Protected from the cataclysmic heat, it contained a repository of artifacts and inscriptions that finally gave the civilization a name: the Imamt, those who harness the sun. The inscriptions tell a remarkable story. The Imamt weren't native to the desert, but came there deliberately to conduct dangerous experiments far from population centers. They were ancient researchers pursuing knowledge their contemporaries found too radical. The texts speak of drawing power from the sky, of focusing the light of Ra to create heat greater than any furnace. In modern terms, they describe experiments with solar energy concentration, technologies we've only recently mastered. But the Imamt went further. They developed methods to focus this energy as a tool for cutting stone, metallurgy, and ultimately, as a weapon. They could project the fire of Ra across great distances to turn sand to glass. The sealed chamber contained a final warning from the last survivors. It describes how their most ambitious experiment, creating a perpetual vessel of Ra's fire, went catastrophically wrong. The vessel shattered, and the fire of Ra was unleashed without control. In moments, the concentrated solar energy turned against them, transforming their city into glass. This explains the vitrification pattern perfectly, an explosion at the central energy facility, with buildings and streets channeling intense heat outward. The flash vitrified humans, frozen in ordinary activity rather than panic, suggest disaster that struck without warning. Perhaps most profound is the Imament's understanding of their place in history. They saw themselves not as the first to discover these principles, but as rediscoverers of knowledge found and lost many times before. One passage is haunting. "We are not the first to harness the fire of Ra, nor shall we be the last. The knowledge sleeps in the dust of ages, waiting to be found again. And with it comes both power and peril, for the fire that warms can also consume." This challenges our linear conception of progress. It suggests advanced technologies may have been discovered multiple times throughout history, only to be lost in catastrophes, both natural and self-inflicted. As we stand on the brink of breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and nuclear fusion, the fate of the Desert Glass civilization serves as both inspiration and warning. In their final message, the Imamt reflected on the hubris that drove them beyond safety boundaries. "We reached for the fire of Ra, and in our eagerness to hold it, we forgot its power to burn. Let those who find our words remember. The greatest danger lies not in ignorance, but in knowledge embraced without wisdom." The Desert Glass civilization reveals that innovation without wisdom, power without restraint, can lead to destruction that erases entire cultures from history. The Imamt understood this truth too late. Their legacy isn't the vitrified ruins marking their passing, but the wisdom they preserved for future generations. A reminder that knowledge without ethics, power without responsibility, can lead to unimaginable destruction. The light of their revelation guides us forward, warning us that even the mightiest technologies can turn against their creators when wielded without sufficient understanding or restraint. If this journey stirred your curiosity, if it made you question what you thought you knew, then welcome to the Adventures Past community. We dig through time, decode the silence, and shine light on what was left behind. Subscribe and join us on this exploration into the shadows of history, because history isn't just what happened, it's what survived.